Hello and welcome to a special video from Racing Community Evolved regarding the GT Planet Fantasy Series. It is now officially 1/3 of a way through the 2014 season, and with that said, it's time to do a quick recap for anybody who's just joining us or hasn't been here the entire season. Starting things off, it was all the way back, rewind all the way back to the summertime. We were at Daytona International Speedway for the Bud Shootout. After a couple of big pileups and a lot of close racing, the B-Man ended up on top in that race. Moving on to the Daytona 400, Carbonox took the pole and led us down to the green flag. After a lot of close racing and, of course, a huge pileup, about 20 or so cars crossed the finish line, but heading the field, it was Raffle Waffle, just a few inches ahead of the number 19 of Goofy Tyler. It would be the first of many second places for the number 19 car. The GT Planet 125 at Watkins Glen. Ryu got the pole, but in the end, it was between NASCAR fan, Ryu, Carbonox, and Johnny 1996. Johnny looked like he was going to win the race, but his engine let go late into the race, and it was Carbonox taking his first win of his career. Moving to the Coca-Cola 180, NASCAR Fan 1400 took the pole at Auto Club. And after a lot of more intense racing, 3-4 wide, at the end of the day, the winner at Coca-Cola was Farinkazin, bringing one home for Great Britain. Then we headed down to Talladega for the Hallowdega 360. That race was ran on Halloween. Samurai 8 Juice had the pole, and after some pretty strange events, ironically enough, it was NASCAR Fan 1400 taking the win. The last Coliseum 107 at Bristol might as well be renamed the last Clean Race 107, because there was nothing but pileups at that race. But after what was more of a crash compilation than a race, Rowley Morton survived and took the checkered flag. The Think Outside the Oval 107 was led to the green by ABP in the number 18 car, and after some pretty distant racing, it was a huge gap to the checkered flag, not to mention Jared Heaney going up on his roof. But coming to the checkered flag, it was Durr winning. His luck finally changed in this series. Going to the Armory Digital 175, NASCAR Fan 1400 nabbed his second pole of the season, definitely locked himself into the Bud Shootout. And by the end of the race, it was a photo finish. After pit stops, Goofy Tyler led a whole pack of cars from the very back. Probably it was about 10 seconds back or so after the pit stops. Led them up, but couldn't quite get the win. He'd have to settle for second place, something he's familiar with. However, winning it was BK Glover, which was a huge relief for him because he's had the most reliability issues all season. After that, it was the Coke Zero 300. With the Coke Zero 300, we were led to the green by the first rookie, if you will. The Concept Cup was announced, adding 5 more drivers to the roster, all of them racing for research and development. And who would have thought Raven 214 would have brought that Dodge to the front of the field to lead us down. He would later go out with technical issues. However, Samurai 8 Juice did not. He ended up taking the victory in the Coke Zero 300. Then it was the Day to Dusk 150. Project What had the pole there after a lot of crashes, and one huge crash that involved probably about 15 to 20 cars. The survivor at the end of that was Farinkazin, taking his second win of the season, the first person to do that in the series. Then it was on to Eldora, where a huge mess of races, consisting of 4 of them, took place. After all the dust settled, it was Carbonox taking his second win of the season. So with that said, we have 2 two-time winners, and then a lot of one-time winners. You also heard who all was, Dustone took the pole at Bristol, and with that, you now know the current roster for the Budweiser Shootout, minus Eldora. You're seeing some shots now on board, and you've seen a couple other shots as well of some testing for 2015. There's a shot of Watkins Glen. Definitely going to be an interesting season next year, and through the rest of the last 2/3 of this season. What you see here is a track that is already, those past two tracks, Daytona and Watkins Glen, are both confirmed for next season, and they've been ran this season. Watkins Glen still has another race, an endurance race, toward the end of the season. In addition to that, there's going to be a lot of close racing, I think, because looking at the point standings here, as I bring them up, AJHG in the lead. He's not won a race yet, but he's been the most consistent. Rally Morton in second place. Verink is in third. Nitters is in fourth. ABP is in fifth. BK Glover is sixth. Cod Demon 101 seventh. Eighth is the B-Man. Ninth is Goofy Tyler. 10th is Jackie. 11th is the only female driver, Quiet Girl. 12th is NASCAR Fan 1400. And outside of the chase on the bubble, Bainham 1121 in 13th, Earth in 14th, Gran Turismo 916 in 16th, and Mr. Unknown in 16th. Leading into the out of the States run, it will be, after the delay at Mosport, it will finally be the first time that we get out of the States, and we'll be going to Mosport, Canada, then we'll be going to Montreal, Canada, and then we head up to Bathurst in Australia. So that will be an interesting couple of road races, without a doubt. Some races to look forward to as we get into the closing statements here. Pocono in the chase, that'll be an interesting one. Circuit of the Americas, round 18. Don't want to miss that one. The Watkins Glen Endurance, round 29, round 9 of the chase. And of course, the Wild Card 360 at Talladega to decide who gets in and who does not get into the chase. You're going to have to run that race perfect if you want to make it in the chase. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the first third of the season. I know it took a very, very long time to get through, what with issues with computers, and if it wasn't issues with computers, it was issues with YouTube. But with the new computer, the effort from everybody involved, the racing community involved, and everybody involved in the GT Plant Fantasy Series, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next week and in the weeks to come as we finish out what has been a great season so far.